Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR, and here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Monday, the 20th day of January. Here we go. Today, and for the next few days, we're just going to do this halacha, and that is when you're davening, like let's say you're an Ashkenaz davener, and you happen to be in a Sfarad minyan, or vice versa. What's the general rule for what you should do when you're finding yourself in a shul that's not following your Nusach? So it really depends on what part of the davening we're talking about, and here are some of the guidelines as listed by Rav Moshe Feinstein Zatzal, that's collected from different parts of his writings, and here's what he says basically. When it comes to things that are said all quietly, like Shmona Esrei, there he says you may follow your own Nusach. So that if you're Ashkenaz, let's say, and you're in a Sfarad Shul, and you're saying Shmona Esrei all quietly to yourself, then that can be said according to your own Nusach. Then, when you get to things like Psukei de Zimra and Birchos Kriyas Shema, if you're not familiar with what that means, that's like the parts of Ashrei and Hallelujah and all that part, and also the brachas that surround Shema. For that, he said, it's preferable to follow the way of the shul that you're in, and to say the davening according to the shul. And that's because that is sometimes said out loud, and since it's something that's sometimes said out loud, Rav Moshe suggested that it's better that you say it the way the shul's saying it around you. Although he did add in that particular circumstance, for the Hallelujahs and the Psukei de Zimra, that if it's difficult for you to switch from your regular Nusach, in that kind of example, like the Hallelujahs and the brachas that surround Shema, there he said you're allowed to stick with your own Nusach if that's much, much more easier for you to stick with your davening properly. But the preferable way would be to say it the way the congregation is saying it around you. And lastly, for today, when dealing with the things like Kedusha, and those are things, all things like Kedusha, where a minyan is required to be able to recite that he said you should always say according to the way the shul is saying it around you, and that's regardless of whether you're saying it in an undertone or quietly or not. Those things that need a minyan to be said, those things should be said according to the minyan. So said Rav Moshe Feinstein Zatzal. More to follow tomorrow. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.